Hey guys, and welcome back. So let's take a look at the web setup and how everything works. As you can see here, I have text on the screen on the camera, and it's showing details about the flip. Actually, let me show the final result. This is a quick test of the flip fluid sim. You can see the path to the cache. You can see the scene file name and the information about the sim, particle separation, point radius, grid scale, and this is the number of points available in the sim. So let's see how it works. So first of all, we need the sim, which is this guy here. It's a very quick sim, and is a node called info, and it's attached to the camera. So if we let's unhide this. If we lock the camera and pan, you'll see the text is going to snap, always at the correct position. And this is done by creating the text. This is done by creating the camera and then the text and placing everything correctly, and then we parent it. So here it's the initial position, and then we parent the transform. And now if we move the camera, it's going to snap. Make sure it's going to always stay attached to the camera. Now if we dive inside, this is basically text, a font node, and each one of them is referencing a certain attributes. Now we can add as much details as we want from the sim. So if I add here, for example, let's say substep, for example, and all we have to do is go up to the sim and say I want to copy the max substep. Go in here, I'm gonna paste relative to get the full path, just the text, and then I'm gonna paste it here. Using backticks, so it gets evaluated. You can see here it says substep 2, max substep, and we can add any information we want. The point count is being evaluated using the number of points, and it's referencing a different node, which is where we're importing the cache basically. So let me zoom back here. This is the cache node. It's importing the fluid from the sim, and then we're writing it to disk. And this is what the OpenGL is going to use. Now, all this is set up. You don't have to do anything about this. You just need to create your own sim and then change the links for basically the reference for this. If you dive inside this and simply delete and reuse this, then you don't have to change anything else. Now if we go under out, there's a set of nodes, and everything is set up to write to specific location, and all we have to do is change this. If you have a separate cache, separate disk, or separate disk for caching, you just change this path, and then this is the node that is going to write, which is this guy here. And then you don't have to change anything here. All you have to do is hit run command, and this node you can actually just hit this one, and this is going to trigger the entire process. So if I hit render, let's say, I don't have this in my file, so let me change this. Sim. So if I hit render, it's gonna start creating the sim. I think there's one more path I need to change. Let's wait for this. Now it's working. So as you can see, the sim is done, and now it's generating the OpenGL preview, and this is just a sequence of images. after that, it's going to run the ffmpeg process to create the MP4, and this just got added now, and this is the preview. So that's pretty much it. And then let's say we made a version 1 and it has specific settings that we stored in the viewport in here. We simply save a new file, change whatever settings we want, and then do another test. So for example, I can go to the sim and change the max substep to 4 and save this as v4 and hit render. Let me reduce the number of frames so it's faster, and everything is gonna work. Now, a lot of tests you don't have to keep the cache on file, and unfortunately I think it's working under Linux, but under Windows you can decide to delete the cache. Right now it's not doing that, but if you are certain about this, and if you have hundreds of widgets, you don't need to cache them to disk, all of them. You can delete the cache right after creating the MP4, and then later you can go back and say, okay, out of these hundreds, I'd like number 2 and number 4. I'm gonna go back and run them. This way you reduce the disk usage, but then you just have to resim again one more time, and it's really up to you to decide this workflow. But for now, our personal preference is to delete the cache when we do a lot of wedges and then resim again as needed. And that's pretty much it for the wedge. The next video I'm going to talk about the dailies file, something that we call dailies, that we can use to stitch multiple wedges together. So we'll continue that in the next video. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in a bit.